Good afternoon. They arrived at the beach on yet another glorious day in paradise. How lucky we are to live in Florida. The towels were carefully spread, followed by a mad dash for the water. After splashing around for a while, they returned to their stake in the sand. Mom began reading her latest romance novel while the children pulled out their shovels and buckets and began to build what was going to be the best castle on the beach. "What smells?" one of the children asked with her nose crinkled up. I'm going to stop that story there, but what I will add is this. What the family was smelling was secondhand smoke. Smoke from a fellow beachgoer. Currently, there's no law in the state of Florida that prohibits smoking on a public beach. Live and let live. Those are very powerful and wonderful words to live by. However, when someone's actions affect others negatively, that's when I feel the need to make my stake in the sand. As Stanford University's study proved, outdoor secondhand smoke is not safe secondhand smoke. It's proven to also be extremely harmful. That's why the affirmative stance resolves that the state of Florida should prohibit smoking on all public beaches. The current problem is, according to a 2003 study done by the University of Minnesota, when a smoker decides to light a cigarette and smoke, only 15% of that smoke actually gets inhaled by the smoker. That leaves the remaining 85% of smoke lingering to be inhaled by anybody nearby through no choice of their own. As I stated earlier, there's no current law in Florida that prohibits smoking on public beaches. Due to this lack of protection, the health of many people could be affected. Although there's a lot of information out there, I'd like to present you with some of the facts on secondhand smoke that you may not be aware of. Did you know that according to the August 2010 edition of the Nursing Standard Journal, secondhand cigarette smoke exposure has been proven to be associated with psychological distress and the risk of future mental illness in healthy adults? We also found research done by the American Heart Association where they compared the effects of secondhand smoke to that of an active smoker. They found the evidence is rapidly accumulating, showing that the cardiovascular system, and this is their words, is exquisitely sensitive to the toxins in secondhand smoke. The effects of even brief passive smoking for even minutes is often nearly as large as a chronic active smoker, averaging 80 to 90%. That was a very eye-opening fact. Excuse me. They also stated that secondhand smoke increased the risk of heart disease by approximately 30% and accounted for at least 35,000 deaths annually in the United States. Obviously, the current status quo does nothing to protect, well, for the lack of a better word, the victims of secondhand smoke. In an effort to protect every beachgoer, including smokers, the state of Florida will mandate a no smoking on public beach law. That would go into effect in January 2012. Enforcement of this mandate would be funded by raising the taxes on cigarettes. Now, before everybody oohs and ahs about raising the taxes, Florida is currently only ranked 26th in the nation as far as taxes are concerned. And if the increase was made to even meet the national average of $1.45 a pack, that would only mean an increase of 11 cents per pack. It could be worse. In the city of New York, they pay a tax of $5.85 a pack. But that 11 cents a pack would generate what equates to over $100 million a year. That would be used for enforcing this mandate. Enforcement would include ads to inform the public of the changes, to install butt cans in parking lots, and to put up informational signs. I know, just what we need, more signs. I agree. But wouldn't it be better to pass a sign or two while walking to the beach than to be surrounded by cigarette butt litter and clouds of smoke while you're on the beach? I realize that passing this law will take some doing, but it will be well worth the effort. It was only a couple of years ago that the seatbelt law was passed. Remember the opposition surrounding that issue? But let's face it, folks, when our health and our safety is on the line, that has to take precedence. Now, for those of us who have not attended a debate before, when one claims fiat, that absolves the negative from attacking our platform based on the fact that we're just college students and not government officials. So at this time, we would like to invoke the power of fiat. Oh, sorry. When this mandate goes into effect, there could be many other benefits other than the obvious secondhand smoke issue. Anybody that's ever done a beach cleanup would agree that it would be a wonderful thing not to have to pick up all those little cigarette butts. Studies have also shown that animals are adversely affected by secondhand smoke, as well as ingesting these tiny chemical-laden treats lying around in their habitat, whether it's in the sand or on the water. We sympathize with smokers. Cigarettes are extremely addictive. Our goal here is not to punish smokers or to take away their rights. What our goal is to do is to protect every beachgoer. Even if a smoker is responsible, a smoker that's willing to take that extra minute to throw their butts in the receptacle or their empty packs, they have to admit there's nothing worse than all those little tiny butts lying around in the sand. I realize smokers may feel they're taking a major hit when this passes. An additional 11 cents added to each pack of smokes that they buy, as well as not having the freedom to light up on the beach anymore. What people do in the privacy of their own home is just that, private. But when it's done publicly, that's a different story. Walk past the butt cans placed here at the college and look at the ground around them. I'm not sure why smokers don't consider cigarette butts as litter. Perhaps it's because they figure it's just a tiny little filter, no big deal. Well, it is a big deal. There were over 20,000 cigarette butts picked up at a beach in one cleanup. In conclusion, I'd like to share the Center for Disease Control's findings regarding secondhand smoke. They warn, there is no risk-free level of exposure to secondhand smoke. Even low levels of exposure can cause harm to a non-smoker's health. Thank you very much, and now the affirmative would like to open the floor for questions. Or not. If you don't, it's okay.
Have you gathered any information on what the cost is for the beaches, for the regulations on other beaches?
Well, we don't think we would have to have, I mean, the beaches are already patrolled. You know, there's already policemen out there, and there's already, so it wouldn't be like we'd have extra people out there. It's just they would enforce the new law, the ones that are already out there patrolling. And hopefully, we're hoping a lot of civic involvement. You know, people would remind each other, hey, that's illegal, you know, so.
How much in fines would it cost to, put on all the beaches?
I'm not sure exactly, but I'm sure it'd be less than 100 million. So, and that's how much it would generate with that 11-cent tax. I don't have the exact figures how much a sign would cost. But
any other questions? All right. Oh wait, we have one more question. All right, we have time for one more question.
If we're gonna stop people from smoking on the beach, then what's next? Public park, where exactly would be, the limit on stopping people from smoking in the public park, public space?
I'm sorry?
I'm saying that if we decide, okay, they can't smoke on the beach, then where else? What's the
Well,
next
the
one?
reason that we're trying to get them to stop is because of the hundreds of carcinogenic agents that are in that secondhand smoke that affect other people. You know, you can smoke and do whatever, a smoker can smoke, but when you smoke where your smoke is affecting other people, I'm not sure where it would stop from there. Hopefully it would go until you can only smoke in your home. That'd be the ideal thing, in my opinion, but that's just my humble opinion.
That's my moment. I'm not a smoker.
Right.
Against smoking.
Right.
But if we start telling people where they can smoke and they cannot smoke there, but we all citizens of this country, so if we stop them from smoking wherever they can.
Right, and as a citizen, do you feel like you have the right for clean air?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
But at the same time, I mean, to enforce the law to stop someone from doing that, I think it's really
Yeah, good point.
you know what I mean?
Good point. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh wait, I think we have time for one more question. This is our final question before moving on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm 11 years old and I'm against smoking, but I have to say, when you're on a beach and outside, multiple people will inhale smoke instead of air, causing them to damage the lungs, and that's why I don't think you should smoke on a beach.
That's correct, I agree, thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to hear the first part of the portion of the negatives case.